The story of Red Riding Hood. It's a delightful atmosphere that will fill your hearts with the loftiest, most romantic feelings. In this world, there is room for a kind of love you couldn't even imagine in your most mind-bendingly cringy fantasies. But the most important thing is... Holy crap, my beloved little dragon Spyro just flew into this universe too, and for some reason he's red now. And who is that slut standing next to him? He and she doing that? Yes, gentlemen, childhood has officially ended, and now it's strawberry time. Red Riding Hood, who I must admit has seriously shot up since the last time I saw her in a children's book, is lying in her bed, being woken up by her loving mom, who gives her a task: go visit grandma and bring her. No, not a little pie, but milk, cheese, bread, lobster, cigars and some wine. Grandma knows her stuff. On top of that, her ever so devoted mommy is basically kicking us out of the house because her boyfriend is coming over. The daughter tries to talk back, but not too much. Doesn't want to lose any perks. Not much to do, grab the list and get going. The suitor is already at the door, and for some damn reason his retarded son is right there too, coming on to us with the suggestion that we give him a urological consultation with our mouth. But Red Riding Hood, for once, is a proper heroine and flat out refuses this brazen offer. Our womanly Red Riding Hood pride will never sink that low. We are outta here, heading to the nearest window to peek at what mom's up to now, and what we see is a completely unshowable scene. But good news here, I recorded all the strawberry stuff in this game, unlocked every secret scene, all in mega quality, with a fixed camera and minimal operator interference. So friends, step right up to the cut content and I guarantee it's worth it. Well, while we've been visualizing the lessons in sex education from mommy, our girl is once again approached by the boy who always walks around with his daddy. To make her feelings about his persistence clear, Red Riding Hood elbows him in the face and says, "You pathetic loser will never win my incorruptible heart with that tiny thing of yours. Well, your dad might have a shot, but you, no." After dumping a whole bucket of icy girl disdain on him, completely crushing his chances, we proudly and independently head out to explore the village and make new friends. WhoreCraft as always. I never get tired of saying it, one of the most stylish games out there. The graphics aren't anything insane, but the charm here is absolutely magical, like divine fucking perfection, in the best sense. Before being a good granddaughter and finding grandma her favorite cigars and other things, I quickly complete a quest for familiar Alexstrasza's helpers from previous series. I helped them steal something while one of them kept the orcs distracted with her curves. But then, trying to push aside the erotic thoughts and focus on the main quest, I head to the merchant just to grab a basket of groceries. But things aren't looking good. It seems like someone attacked the cart bringing supplies to the village because it hasn't arrived. The old pervert can't be bothered to check for himself. It's beneath his rank, I guess, so Red Riding Hood has to conduct her own investigation. Well, let's investigate then. I quickly find the battered cart and see blood. Someone attacked it, leaving the village without food. Did you notice? Her chest practically popped out in outrage. Yes, friends, the devious attacker is a wolf. And now we are briefly shifting into the body of a beautiful girl named Feia. Next to the village stands a fort, and all sorts of creatures serve there. Feia is a healer, treating the locals for various ailments. She's also constantly pushed around by her superiors. The service in WhoreCraft is harsh. They won't even let you wear underwear if you've been bad, or if you're just too irresistible. After healing the orc stalker and his assistant with her backside, Feia gets a special mission in the middle of the night. An alchemical flower is urgently needed, because the Worgen attacked again, and there are no supplies left. We leave the fort, and doing this at night was a huge mistake. The bastard is hiding with a tranquilizer. After feeling a sharp sting right in her precious behind, Feia passes out, and her nightmare begins. The devious Worgen has set up a little home harem for himself here. He kidnaps women, abuses them. And no one would really complain about it because it's Whorecraft. But apparently, the living conditions could use some improvement. The ladies were absolutely not happy with the local comforts, so he's pure evil. The maniac keeps the whole village in fear, and it's gotten to the point where he's even attacking the supply carts. Not far from here, we find some guy, and he tells us that the hairy bastard attacked them and kidnapped yet another girl. The hellish pussy collector had his appetite growing, wanting more and more. We carry the guy on our girl's back to the hospital, and well, I think the experienced Whorecraft veterans have already figured out who we saved based on the size of his joystick. Yeah, it's that same Alex from the previous episodes, the guy who got dumped hard and, in his misery, thinking it would help him get his beloved back, he drank a whole vial of growth potion, and the effect became permanent. As some of you may remember, he didn't go back to his ex in the good ending. Instead, he started traveling with Luxia, the hired assassin. If you haven't played the series and want to see it, let me know in the comments and I'll consider making them. Whorecraft features many great games, like the one before this, called Blue is Better. We barely managed to leave the poorhouse/hospital when the Holy Father catches us at the exit, and with all his infinite wisdom, he points out that we haven't been to service in a while and that the god totem sees everything. Alright, he's right, so we had to pray. I immediately liked the Whorecraft church. The atmosphere is just lovely. There's just this couple, or actually a trio, or whatever you call it when a lady practices double penetration. Anyway, we head to the booth to pray. Or so I thought. But Red Riding Hood had other plans. Holy shit, now that's what I call totem blasphemy. After totem blessing the stick, the Drenay also tossed it aside, where it was immediately licked by the wolf, apparently deciding who would be his next victim. I say goodbye to the Holy Father, thanking him for such valuable advice. He really helped. I remind you, it's been 30 minutes already, and the only lover our main heroine has had so far was the totem. For Whorecraft, this is some kind of feat. Usually, the main heroines last only a few seconds during the game load, and by the time the menu appears, someone's already taking them somewhere. But here, 30 minutes! Let's make bets, gentlemen. Will Red Riding Hood manage to keep her almost untouched innocence until the end of the game? The totem doesn't count. Such a small game and already so many intrigues. Will they catch the wolf? Who is this wolf? What does our fun grandma look like? And now this. Arriving at the inn, I notice my favorite Hammett. He is filming another erotic masterpiece. It's called Cavalry Artillery, or The Horse Strikes Back. In the Tavern Hotel, we are greeted with some interesting mini-stories. For example, a creepy-looking lady is interrogating an elven thief about where her boyfriend is. The thief's out cold, so there will be more to this story. Plus, I deliver a magical book to these lovely dick-driven girls who absolutely need it for a special ritual. With it, they summon a succubus to play with her in a fun little train game. Wait, I already forgot. What we're supposed to do again? I remember. Of course. Let's go find the boyfriend of the thief the armored lady was interrogating, with clearly bad intentions. The boy shows up quickly, and he says that his girl is a demon hunter. I thought she just stole some sausage from her. Well, we point him in the right direction, but say nothing about the demon. Let it be a surprise. I'm much interested in seeing what happens next. And yep, everything is as bad as we expected. The boy is getting the hell beaten out of him right in front of his girlfriend, because she wouldn't say where some ritual was happening. The poor guy really got unlucky. The demoness with each movement of her ample hips was pounding her uncontrollable anger into him. But for us, everything was perfect. 55 minutes of gameplay and still almost untouched. After walking around the area, I spot a couple of other characters dear to our hearts. Alex Straza, who I believe for the first time in my memory was polishing instead of extracting. I return to the merchant and he says, "We've saved some of the goods, here they are. But as for the booze and cigars, well, looks like your grandmother is gonna have to tone down her appetites. Sorry, this stuff didn't make it. Since we were the coolest granddaughter in the village, we couldn't leave our grandma without her cigars and booze. She'd curse us, and who knows, might even disinherit us. So the search must go on. Meanwhile, the Worgen was put on a wanted list, and standing next to the poster was Luxia. Her assistant Alex has been injured, and now she was hunting solo. Luckily, as a fighter, he was pretty useless anyway. Luxia usually used him to infiltrate women who were into the ridiculous size of cucumbers. Red Riding Hood is heading to one of these women, her best friend Sylvia, and her boyfriend, whose size and stamina, despite all his desperate efforts, clearly don't satisfy her. We try to get cigars, but Sylvia made her boyfriend quit smoking to protect his health, so she can't land any. However, she knows where to find some, in the bathhouse, in the VIP section. And she threatens to find her a boyfriend there too. Great, I mean, great for the cigars. We don't need the boyfriend. In Red Riding Hood's heart, there's only room for the totem. So we head to the bathhouse. And here, filming is going to be especially tricky for me, because even in the most depraved brothels, there is more decency than in this bathhouse. I'll keep it brief. After flashing some breasts, we make our way to the VIP room on the top floor and find an orc ready to share some cigars for our grandmother, if Red Riding Hood can handle his vast orcish nature. The full force of the encounter landed on our heroine's daring breasts, so it almost doesn't count. It's already 1 hour and 23 minutes without any action in our heroine's delicate innocence. WhoreCraft is about to break the absolute record. Not so for Sylvia though. She's definitely not known for her restraint. She found herself a double replacement for her boyfriend. Everyone suffers differently in WhoreCraft. For example, Sylvia endlessly struggles with her oversized vagina, where her boyfriend's dick gets lost and can't find his way back for a long time. Meanwhile, some couple, like this elven girl, suffers from the monstrosity that her lover desperately tries to fit into her. Red Riding Hood helps as much as she can. 1 hour, 46 minutes in, and still untouched. By the way, Sylvia is a terrible girlfriend to her boyfriend, but a great friend. She got some wine by stealing it from the church, so the list is slowly filling up. Just need to get the milk. But that's where the problems start. There is a farmer living nearby, and everything would be fine except his wife. She is a dangerous woman. Being alone with her is like sentencing yourself to sin and complete spiritual destruction. But there is no choice. Grandma will get her milk, no matter what sacrifices we have to make. Well, we take a deep breath and enter the farmer's house. And at first, it seemed like everything was fine. But no, it wasn't fine at all. They are sitting here without pants having dinner. This family has very broad liberated use, and while the farmer went to milk the cow with Sylvia, we were left alone with his insatiable wife. Seems like it's starting. Oh, Grandma, should I curse you or should I thank you? After the grand love affair with the farmer's wife, still with the foggy head, I went to find the cow. We did come here for milk after all. And by the way, where is our friend? Our friend was, predictably, trying to convince the farmer to share the milk. But there's the problem. The negotiations were successful, but the cow ran off in fear from all the size. And now we had to chase after it because everyone else was very busy, extremely busy. Bessie was found, unable to bear the depravity happening at the farmer's house. She ran off to some mine. I ran after her, and immediately upon entering, we felt ominous vibes. I went down and holy Mother Teresa. There are the kidnapped women. We've tracked down the main villain of the village, the wolf. The women begged to be freed before their angry, horny suitor returned, but it was already too late. Red Riding Hood was immediately shackled. The plot of the game had strayed far not only from the official fairy tale, but also from the most extreme porn versions of it. Fortunately for Ruby, the bounty hunter Luxia arrived just in time. The wolf didn't expect an attack and got a punch to the face and a blow to the arm, but he managed to regroup and escape. The women were saved, but we couldn't capture the little wolf, and he's going to show himself in a very unexpected way. The little wolf had everything set up quite well. A cell, a bed, a stake, and an inspiring painting. Well, it was time to check on Sylvia. She, flashing her bare ass, told us that the milk was waiting, and the farmer even caught a lobster, so everything was perfect. By the lake, I also ran into Feya, the same lady the wolf had kidnapped, tranquilizing her right in the ass. By the way, someone stole her pants too. We didn't get to talk much because the higher ranked officer officer came and yielded her, saying she needed to run to headquarters, that another soldier stepped on a hedgehog. As for the pants, she said, you won't need those. As you can imagine, after such a promising phrase, I simply had to find this damn outpost. It took a while, but eventually the headquarters was found. And there, oh wow, how interesting they treat hedgehog pricks. It's like some kind of medical innovation. And that's putting it mildly. What the surgeons were doing to Fea, I think the wolf would seem like the most courteous gentleman in comparison, because the way they were hazing her with a dowel in her backside, that's definitely inventive. To unlock the secret scenes, I needed to steal a thing from the tower and use it to light 4 magical totems. I witnessed many wonders while trying to pull this off. Spyro, now a little older and having changed his disguise, was desperately trying to crawl out of a farmer's wife's chimney, or that huge beast, refusing to move me around. But the craziest thing was probably visiting this druid. He invited us to a trip party, and we teleported to the Torrance shaman's house, and he was already performing a ritual with 2 elven women, and the result of his labor was something Red Riding Hood has to drink from a cup, which she did. After this, our beauty found herself in a familiar church for her own wedding to some guy named Sammy. Ruby desperately tried to escape the wedding ceremony, but in this nightmare, no one was asking her opinion. They were getting married. Furthermore, according to the Great Totem Church's rules, the laugh had to take place in front of everyone, and the priest had to be the first to discover the wet pleasure, as per seniority. The love trip stage didn't last too long, but all good things must come to an end. Ruby came too, and despite the disturbing dream, it seems there was no actual involvement. The love with the farmer's wife doesn't count, although the druid made some dirty suggestions. The secret scene was finally unlocked. I approached the well, threw some garbage in, and out came Ellie Neese, the main heroine of the WhoreCraft series. There are super cool stories with her involved, so let me know if you want to see them too. And she was like, want to see the secret scene? Take it! Right in the face. At this point, I couldn't back out, and the action was inevitable. But the record was set, 2.5 hours. There was another secret scene. We looked at the TV, ended up in the body of some random woman. But there was nothing. Too bad. But it was time to head to our old granny. Last stop, we checked in on Luxia and Alex. She was so happy her assistant didn't kick the bucket that she pulled off a position I'd never seen before. And here it was, Grandma's house. Time to bring her the hard-earned goodies. We opened the door and holy shit! First of all, holy shit, Grandma is in great shape. And second of all, holy shit, she's jobbing that idiot who, at the beginning, offered Red Riding Hood to join his bold body. Grandma says, what was I supposed to do? I found him wounded and now I'm healing him as best I can. Get out of here, granddaughter. We left, of course, but we peeked at what the old lady was up to. Then decided to grab some water. And that's when the twist happened. I don't know how about you, maybe you guessed, but I personally didn't even suspect it. Looks like my brain got completely fucked up. Anyway, that guy is the wolf. He takes his wolf form, gives our old lady a pounding brrr, and then he was planning on kidnapping us too. But just in time, Luxia arrived. Having filled her inspiration meter after an intense ride on Alex's curse, she was ready to jump back into the fray. And the wolf got caught, but then... This is something I definitely didn't expect. Turns out the wolf wasn't alone. There were 2 of them, the very same ones dead who had taken our mother at the beginning. And his son, continuing the family tradition, was now going after our grandmother. Now, together with Luxia, we're in a cave, and the wolves are deciding which of us they want to focus on more. Turns out it's Red Riding Hood. Luxia didn't really interest them. I'm running to the hunters and asking, buddy, these perverts are about to have their way with us. What are we going to do? And she's like, not us, you. Great, just what we needed, internal strife. But experienced Luxia quickly comes up with a plan. We start kissing passionately, and the wolves, seeing this, can't resist and get tempted. While we're pleasing the wolves, well, it's Red Riding Hood who takes on the mission of satisfying both of them. Luxia quietly slips out of the cage, grabs their tranquilizer, and... The hairy ones are caught, and now they are the ones in captivity, with Jayana and Sylvana. And what's funny, only now did it hit me that these are the same wolf pups who will appear in the next game, the review of which I'm also planning to finish. Make sure not to miss it. There, as the main character, I will rescue these wolves from Sylvanas' anal slavery. I thought, why are these villains exploiting them like this? After all, as they told me, they are just simple farmer workers, and look at how they have been treated. Now it's clear what crimes they were arrested for. But before going all the way with the wolves, the main ladies decided to take a ride on Alex. What can you do? The poor guy with the big dick now has even more duties, besides accompanying Luxia on her wild adventures. Now, with his newfound big opportunity, he's got plenty of responsibilities to handle. And on that bright note, the story comes to an